So when I started weightlifting, I was out of shape, of course. So weightlifting is the only thing that I can do that doesn't require a lot of energy, or not necessarily energy, but a lot of conditioning. So when I did weightlifting, like machines or laying down and pushing weights and stuff, that was easier for me. That's why I always say, when you're overweight, start in weightlifting. So that's where I started. So weightlifting, I still do weightlifting, of course, because I want to build muscle, I want to stay lean. But then I started to get in better shape, and I started to do stuff that gets my conditioning up, because maybe I get a better shape, but if I wanted to do a sprint, I cannot do much because my conditioning is really bad. So that when I figure out about high intensity interval training. So what is high intensity interval training? Well, the first two words, high intense, is basically high intense. So every movement you do, you need to do high intense. Like for example, walking, how to make it high intense is by running. Let's say squats, how to make it high intense. Squats for some people is already high intense, maybe because they're overweight, or maybe because they don't have much muscle in their legs to do squats properly. So it's all about the person. So all about you, what is high intense for you. So for me, for example, when I started, I can't really do squats that well. I didn't have much muscle to do squats properly. But now that I'm leaner and I build some muscle, now squats are really easy for me. So a way to make it high intense for me is, for example, jump squats. So with jump squats, it requires more energy. That's the meaning of high intensity. Something you can do that requires more energy than if you do it on normal intensity. Another example is push-ups. For some people, push-ups is like the worst thing they can do, because they don't have muscle in their chest. They don't have muscle. Their chests are really weak, or they're overweight. They have too much weight on them that they can't handle their own weight. So, but for me, for example, push-ups become easier by the time. Push-ups are not high intensity enough for me, so I do like burpees. So it requires more energy for me to do it. So things like that are high intensity. So the name is high intensity interval training. So interval, what is interval? Interval is like the difference between time. So let's say I do 1 minute high intense. So 1 minute, for example, 1 minute burpees, and then I rest for 30 seconds. That's the interval. So 1 minute high intense, the rest 30 seconds, and then you repeat that process. So if you're gonna do like 10 minutes burpees continuously, you're gonna burn, you have a really high risk on burning muscle, because you're putting your muscle on constant tension. But with the interval, that little bit of rest, and make sure the rest is less time than the intensity training. Because if it's not, then you're gonna rest most of the time. So like 1 minute high intense and 30 seconds rest. So then you repeat the process. The rest is gonna make sure that you burn none of your muscle, but only fat. You requires only fat for energy. And this is the best way to burn fat. But like I said before, if you're like new to beginning, you cannot just jump in, because it's gonna be hard. So it's all about finding what's high intense for you, and then you can play around with it. And as you build some muscle, remember to weight train, because by weight training you're gonna build a muscle. By weight training you're gonna let your exercises be high intense, because if you don't have muscle, you cannot like do another high intensity trainings, because you don't have muscle that can support that. So that's a bit about high intensity interval training. As I said at the beginning, I'm looking myself more as an athlete, so I do this about 1 to 2 times per week. One on my rest day from the weight training, and one in between my weight training. So just because conditioning And also, it betters your performance in the gym in the way that if you start doing high intensity interval training, that's really good for your cardiovascular system. So you're gonna get tired less easier, less in the gym. So when you're weight training, you're gonna take more time, more weightlifting before you get tired. So it's gonna really help with that. And also it's really good for your health, your cardiovascular system. It gets the blood flowing in the system much easier because your conditioning is on point. So I'm gonna show you now what I do for high intensity training. Every set I'm gonna increase the time or the reps I do a little bit more. So it's a little bit high intense every time. I'm gonna warn you, you're gonna get really sweaty. You're gonna it's basically a fat burning system. You're gonna burn a lot of fat if you do this continuously because it's the best way to burn up fat. I'm gonna show you what maybe you can implement it in your training or start doing it if you find it hey it's interesting. You're gonna try it out, and I'm sure you're gonna sweat and you're gonna burn some fat. I'm sure of that. So thank you for watching. Now we're gonna get into training. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna put the things on the screen that I do and how many of it, the time, etc. And hope you enjoy this training. Don't do this before your workout or after your workout. Before you're gonna get exhausted, and after you're not gonna go and put 100% of yourself because you just exhausted yourself in the gym. So I do it on my Wednesday and like in the middle of my workout because I train 6 times a week. So the third day I train in the morning. So I do this in the evening when I'm fully rested from the morning. So if you want to do it this on the same day you weight train, make sure you do it on a different time that you train. Not the same time, not before, not after. And also the best time is on your rest day from the gym, from the weight training. So just keep that in mind because you don't want you to like go force yourself in doing this on the day you're training. So find a rest day or do this at a different time of the day compared to the time you train. Just